we all grew up watching Sports Center, and we still watch Sports Center. And I just remember just seeing this person on my TV at all times. And we'll see her later on tonight as well with the Sports Center LA at 1 a.m. Eastern time. It is the great Linda Cohn joining us here on You Better You Bet. You can find her on Twitter at Linda Cohn. Linda, we appreciate you hanging out with us this afternoon. I know you have a show later on tonight, so this means a lot that you're taking a little bit of time to hang with us here on You Better You Bet.
Well, Femi, thanks for those kind words, and Pat, and love to be on with you guys on this show. So it's a great time. It's a great time, right, to do sports for a living. I mean, this is like one of the greatest times to me with the NBA and the NHL postseason. Every night we have a great game, and it has not disappointed so far as we enter the second round in both sports.
Yeah, Linda, let's jump right into it. And in terms of the Stanley Cup playoffs, one game last night, great game between the Maple Leafs and the Panthers, the defending Cup champions. Toronto able to hold on. But I think the big takeaway for me is the injury to Anthony Stolarz. And what I thought was just another dirty play from Sam Bennett. Like, surprise, surprise, here's Sam Bennett knocking somebody out of a game yet again with another what I thought was a cheap shot hit. What did you think of that hit? No suspension coming for Sam Bennett. Craig Berube hasn't ruled out Anthony Stolarz for game 2. But I guess your takeaway on the hit, and if you think that is a big impact in the rest of this series between the defending champs and the Leafs.
Well, first of all, Pat, being a former goalie like I am, I'm with you. I don't know how the refs did not see that. The elbow to the head of the netminder, Anthony Stolarz. So there was no penalty on the play. Thank goodness for him, number one, after he was getting sick on the bench, throwing up, taken out on a stretcher to the hospital last night. He was back with his teammates, letting them know he's okay. And as you mentioned, the coach, Craig Berube, still thinks he might play in game 2. But I think they're fine with Joseph Woll for the Maple Leafs. I don't think you should rush Stolarz back unless he's 100%. But should there have been a hearing of some sort, or it was just sort of like, a quick video review, I guess, for the higher ups in New York of the NHL, and they just thought no fine, no suspension was necessary. I definitely disagree. Listen, if Bennett was suspended one game, would anyone have been like, oh yeah, that's an outrage? No, not at all. So I think they missed the boat there, and I think they need to protect the goalies more. But then again, I'm biased because I played the position.
Always looking out for the netminders there with Anthony Stolarz, which, that's like the scene last night, like him getting sick on the bench. That was not great. So hopefully he's good to go.
Femi. That was a scene. Yeah,
it was definitely. But I mean, what do you make of the rest of the series though? Because Toronto has the 1-0 series lead. Obviously, a lot of Maple Leafs fans usually they go into these things being like, all right, what could go wrong? Probably will go wrong. But that's a great win for them last night. Can they actually pull this off and beat the defending Cup champions, or is this going to be Florida bouncing back in game 2? Because that's what the betting market seems to think going forward, at least.
Yeah. Listen, these are the reigning champion Florida Panthers. They have encountered every type of adversity in their runs. They've been to the last 2 finals, of course, winning last year. They know how to win, right? They know what crunch time means. They have players in Bennett, who everyone hates, and they have the Matthew Tkachuks of the world. But the win by Toronto was big, and I'll tell you why it was big. It was a blessing in disguise that it became a nail biter and not a rout. And why is that? Because the Maple Leafs need more of that game, those kind of games, right? To get confidence in the postseason that they're capable mentally and physically to win games like this. The Maple Leafs haven't done that in the past. The more they can win these crunch time type of games where they blow, not that they love blowing leads. I know that crowd in Toronto didn't love them blowing that 3-goal lead, but this is what builds character. And that's been the knock against that core group, right? For Toronto, the Austin Matthews, the Mitch Marner, we can go on and on, that these guys they're so damn talented that they didn't have to work so hard, right? To get where they are, because it comes so naturally. But the postseason is a different animal. So the more they get involved in these type of games, and this kind of matchup could be a blessing in disguise for them, because if somehow, some way they can get by Florida, man, that confidence is going to shoot through the roof. And the Eastern Conference, to me, is not as deep, not as tough as the Western Conference. So if you get by Florida, there's a really good chance you can get to a Cup final. And as we all know, the Leafs haven't won a Cup since 1967.
The great Linda Cohn with us here on You Bet or You Bet, SportsCenter anchor, ESPN, and former goalie, as if everybody doesn't know by now, and for those that don't follow Linda a lot, you realize once again. And look, we got 2 games coming up tonight that I know we're going to ask you about, but using the goalie angle here, I want to just advance. I want to fast forward to tomorrow because I think one of the best series in the second round, Stars Jets, 2 teams that needed some miraculous comebacks in game 7s to now face off with each other. And I think everybody that's north of the border that is wondering, is this the year that Canada brings home a cup? Could it be the Winnipeg Jets? What kind of play are we going to get from the Vezina winner and maybe the Hart Trophy winner this year, Connor Hellebuck, who has had his fair share of postseason struggles? Do you think that Hellebuck can play like he did in the regular season, or do you think this is going to be more shame and more torture for Jets fans coming up with this series with the Dallas Stars? Because the Stars are favored to win that series in the betting market.
And you know what? They should be favored in the betting market. But my heart is picking Winnipeg in 7. I picked Winnipeg before the season, not before the postseason began, to win the Stanley Cup. Do you know why? Because I wanted to believe, to answer your question, Pat, that Connor Hellebuck was going to shove all the postseason blues away. But the way that first round played out, we didn't see it. It was the same old Connor Hellebuck in the playoffs. Breaks my heart because he's one of the greatest humans ever. I mean, he's a fabulous person. His teammates love him. And yes, he owns the regular season. But I've talked about this ad nauseum with many media outlets regarding what happens to Connor Hellebuck. The game is different. There's a lot more chaos in front of the net. It's a lot faster. And if you're not quick to move side to side and you are just counting on your positioning, it doesn't always work that way. And so that game 7, when Matthew Joseph made it 2-0 on a wrister that, with all due respect to Matthew Joseph and Connor Hellebuck, I think I had a good shot of stopping that puck, okay? I was like, I tweeted out, bring Comrie in. I actually said, bring Eric Comrie into the game in a game 7 down 2-0 after I saw the way that goal went in. Don't ask me how I felt when they went up 3-1, as St. Louis did, with the way that third goal happened. But thank goodness that Connor Hellebuck took the baby steps necessary in the third period and the overtimes to gain a lot of his confidence back. Can it, just like a light switch, turn off just like that when we see game 1 tomorrow against a better team, which is the Dallas Stars, who many believe are going to win the Stanley Cup? Yeah, it could all end. Any little percentage of confidence. So my heart tells me Winnipeg's going to find a way to win in 7. They have a home ice advantage, but we all know in hockey that doesn't mean anything. But, I'm grasping at straws here. But I just want to believe Hellebuck has found his way. And Winnipeg still has to play the way they played during the regular season in front of him. The key for the Jets is if they can get Mark Scheifele back, Josh Morrissey, I don't know about, and Logan Stanley, all 3 showed up at practice today, which was huge. Scheifele was the only guy that stayed on the ice for a significant amount of time, even though he was in a non-contact jersey. So if they can get these guys back, even if it's not for the opener tomorrow, but like later in the series, game 2 even, that's a huge boost for Winnipeg. Scheifele is an incredible player, and they can generate more offense that way. So that's how I feel about that. Hard for Hellebuck, okay? But Dallas is just stacked, and I'm not going to be shocked if they win the Stanley Cup because their injured players are set to come back as well, So the Heiskanen and the Jason Robertsons of the world.
Yeah, well, this show can get behind Hart for Hellebuck because that is a position that we have, and we would like to win some money when that award is eventually announced at some point during these Stanley Cup playoffs. In about 30 seconds, you mentioned that your heart is with the Winnipeg Jets to win the Stanley Cup. Who will they beat in the Stanley Cup final coming up in June?
I'd love it to be. I'd like it to be Alex Ovechkin and the Washington Capitals. I think it'd be good for hockey to see Washington in the Stanley Cup final and see if Ovi can win another cup. And if Winnipeg can somehow get by Dallas, man, and they get healthy, I think they're going to begin to believe and really get the job done.
Yeah, that Winnipeg-Dallas series is a monster. We're all looking forward to that one coming up tomorrow night. The great Linda Cohn. Check her out tonight on SportsCenter LA, 1 a.m. Eastern time after all the games, on Twitter at Linda Cohn. Linda, we appreciate the time. This was a real treat for us. Hopefully we can talk soon.
I hope so. I really enjoyed it, guys. Continued success. Thanks for having me.